Big game coverage live from Los Angeles. Powered by AA Best Bail Bonds, Nearside App, Texas Cheer Liquor, and Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds.
It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 103.3 FM. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. Our AA Best Bail Bonds big game coverage continues. Sam Acho joining us now. Superstar on ESPN. Forget everything else, man. You are killing it right now for the mothership.
I appreciate it. I'm having fun.
Wait, and I want to go back. The Alamo Bowl kickoff luncheon, which really wasn't a kickoff like it normally is. You were the guest speaker this year. It was a phenomenal job that you did, telling your story, everything you did. Everybody was fired up walking out of the dome that day.
No, thank you so much. I mean, obviously I played in the NFL for a couple years, for 9 years, almost a decade, and wrote a book and you know, married, kids, all that stuff. But one of my passions is just encouraging people and speaking. And so, like, when I found out about that event, that Alamo Bowl kickoff, it was just really cool to be able to go and speak and encourage people. And we had a blast, we had fun, but just to remind people of who they are, you know what I mean? So,
well, maybe Coach Traylor should bring you in every year, because right after that, I mean, UTSA goes on this incredible run. It was fun to watch.
It was, and funny enough, they were like, I met some of the players on the team, and some people from the area asked, "Hey, how's UTSA?" I was like, "I think they're going to be good," and they were 11-0, and I think they lost late in the season. It was unbelievable.
Well, and again, it was an incredible run. I don't know. I want to talk more college football, more NFL football, but I think a lot of people want to know, you're doing all this stuff at the network. Do you ever just want to hit Dan Orlovsky? I mean, honestly.
Hey. So the short answer.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the short answer.
Now that's it. I love a lot of what Dan Orlovsky does.
Yeah.
I mean, and I appreciate a guy that grabs an opinion and just hangs on to it no matter how dumb it ultimately looks. Do you ever just want to be like, dude, stop? You're embarrassing yourself.
We've done some stuff. Like, when I first started, I didn't know much about him, and when we did stuff, we are on the opposite end of the spectrum on a lot of stuff. And then I realized, but that's who he is. Like, he believes what he believes, and you got to respect that, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you have to respect he believes what and then when he's right, he's gonna gloat. When he's wrong, I don't know what he does when he's wrong. But when he's right,
he moves on in a hurry.
He moves on in a hurry. So anyways, I got a lot of respect for him. I think he's different. He's different. Which stands out.
Well, and the good part, that's good TV. I mean, you don't want a bunch of people up there that all agree on everything, right? You want to have the different perspective, so it makes it fun for us to watch you guys.
Absolutely. And I think that's the thing too. Like, that's one cool thing about him and some people who are on there. It's like, we don't all agree. Yeah. And I'm gonna stick to my opinion because I believe in it. Now, the interesting thing is, sometimes I get proven, I'm like, oh, you know what? You did bring up a good point. And I start to reconsider. So I'm like, do I reconsider on air, or do I just stick with what I believe?
I mean, when we talk for 3 hours every day.
Yeah.
I mean, that just leads to dumb things coming out of your mouth.
Yeah.
They weren't dumb when you said them, right? So in the moment, what I don't like is people want to go back and look at a tweet from, a year ago, right? Because things do change. Players get better. Situations change. I mean, that goes with the territory.
Well, here's the thing. So I remember I was talking about the Bengals one time, right early in the playoffs, and I remember watching some tape on Jamar Chase, his game in Week 17 against the Chiefs. And that game, he went crazy. He had 11 catches for 266 yards. One man in one game.
That's incredible.
It's incredible. He also was an All-Pro, right? Sure. First team All-Pro, just won Rookie of the Year. Offensive Rookie of the Year. And I remember watching that game. We were talking about it on some show, and I was like, man, this dude's like Michael Jordan. Like, every time he touched the ball, magic happens, right? And I said it on some show, whatever. And then I got on First Take. And I'm talking. The Bengals, somebody's like, no, they're not going to. I'm like, dude, did you see Jamar Chase? This dude's he's like Michael Jordan. This is unbelievable. And all of a sudden, it went, Sam Acho thinks it's over. And I'm like, so then I'm like, crap, what do I, you know what I mean? And then fast forward, he wins all these awards. He's in the Super Bowl. I'm like, he is like Michael Jordan, And my buddy was like, well, you could technically say, because it's Michael Jordan's rookie year. So anyways, long story short, we tend to say things, and sometimes stuff slips out. But oftentimes you believe what you say.
Well, and I see, and kind of Orlovsky defends himself greatly on Twitter. Fans hear a comment. Right? And when you guys are on those panel shows like that, you're answering a very specific question. So your answer, if taken out of context, well, yeah, that seems pretty dumb. Well, that's not what I said. I answered this question.
Yes.
If this were to happen,
right.
You kind of go that way. TV business is a lot of fun, and for a new guy in it, you've adapted extremely well.
Yeah, I've had to learn quickly.
It's fun. I saw RG3 last night at the Dick of Jaws party. We both went to Coppers Cove High School, right? And we were talking about it, and he's new into TV, and he was talking about differences of calling games versus when you're doing the panel shows and how tough that transition has been.
Yeah, it's very different. I've only called a couple games. I called last year. Or I guess 2 years ago. I called a game for the Big Ten Network, and then for ESPN, I've called a couple different games, and it's very different, right? Those opinion shows, those panel shows, it's very much like sometimes, hey, you got 15 seconds. Get in and get out. Make your best point and move on. And so that's hard for me because, as you probably could tell now, like, I'm very verbose. I want to communicate. You know what I mean? And so,
is that a new way of saying long-winded?
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, I've had to learn how to adapt, like, from show to show.
Sure.
First Take is very much like boom, 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 boom. Get Up is different. Sports Center is much different.
Yep.
So, and then calling games is even more different.
It's interesting that you do that and you adapt and adjust over that. But 15 seconds is not enough time to make your point, is it?
That's the issue.
That's the problem.
So you just got to figure out, like, so that's why we take, like, a lot of people spend hours, some minutes, but some hours beforehand figuring out what's my best point, right? So let's say it's like who's going to win and why. When it's the Bengals, okay, I can say this, I can say that. But, man, the reason the Bengals are going to win is because Joe Burrow is going to get sacked and going to get back up. Those sacks will not affect him, right? That's my best point. Now, I could have other reasons, but if I'm going to use the best one, as an example, right? Somebody don't take this out of context. As an example, that would be what I would say.
All right, I got the stopwatch.
Right.
Cool. Who's going to win and why?
Yeah, I think the Rams are going to win this game. Obviously, Matthew Stafford is coming to his own. Sean McVay is an offensive genius, but in his downfalls, in his mistakes, Matthew Stafford knows how to make plays. Defensively, the Rams are strong. Joe Burrow, I don't think, has enough to make it happen.
15.11.
Wow.
Dude, you are a pro.
Wow.
That's
impressive. That's impressive. Wow. I couldn't have done that. That was great. And you got in all the good points, too.
And he spent 25 years on television on the CBS affiliate in San Antonio. Technically, he's still there. He's retiring at the end of this month to do radio full-time. We'll go 41 seconds on this one. How do you fix the Dallas Cowboys?
Ooh.
Not enough time, huh?
To think about it.
Yeah.
Well, because I'm setting you up for the next one, so just have that rolling in the back of your mind.
I think that the Cowboys' issues, at least this year, had to do with discipline.
Yep.
Remember all those penalties in the playoffs. Offensively, you're talented. They're the number one offense in the NFL in points and in yards. Defensively, you're trending in the right direction. But there's too many. I just think you have to block out the noise.
Yeah.
Right? We're sitting here, we got our what do you call it, headphones on, and all these things, right? We can't hear what's outside of us. Sometimes when you're a Dallas Cowboy, you take your headphones off, you start hearing former players, you start hearing the media, you start everybody talk about how you're not good and this and that and need to do this. Stick to your guns. Kellen Moore in week 1, you didn't run the ball against Tampa Bay because they're a good run defense. But everybody's like, oh, you got to run the ball. You got Ezekiel Elliott. No, right? But then the next 6 weeks, you're over 200 yards rushing. Oh, they finally got to that. But it doesn't always work. You're watching the film, Kellen Moore. You know what the game plan is. So forget all the former players who are telling you what you should do. Forget the people in media who tell you what you should do. You do what you do. And if Jerry Jones wants to fire you, then let him fire you.
All right. Setting you up. I told you that. How do we fix the Longhorns? I'm a Longhorn fan, man.
Oh. Next question. I'm kidding.
Hey, it's been great talking with Sam Acho here on radio. Right? I want to keep him in a good mood.
Yeah, I think, honestly, it's a little bit similar. Right? So many people, former players or all these people, whatever. It's not as bad, I would say, former players, but like boosters. Their hands are just in the pot. It's like, just let me coach. Let me, you know what I mean? Like, so I think if you want to fix it, I think Steve Sarkisian has to keep the boosters at bay.
Mm-hmm. Good luck.
Yeah.
But keep the boosters, like, let them come in with it, but keep them at bay. You're a football coach. Coach football, right? Coach football. Recruit, coach, get the right players in there, but don't let all these outside voices and outside noises come in and affect you.
Man, I don't
think he does.
This has been awesome. Sam,
yes.
Again, congrats on all your success at ESPN.
Yes, no, definitely. And real quick, I know we got to go. One thing I'd love to share about.
Please.
part of the reason why I'm actually here on Radio Row is there's an organization I'm partnering with called International Justice Mission. And what they do is they go and they fight against human trafficking all around the world, right? There's 40 million people who are trafficked. And so obviously you had a platform with sports. We have a platform with TV and radio. Sure. But I'm like, dude, what if we could do something bigger? Like, what if there was a force we could get behind to help change lives, right? There's 2 million children who are trafficked every single year. And that, we've seen online abuse triple in the last few years because of COVID. Mm-hmm. And so anyways, I'm telling everybody who wants to learn more, go to ijm.org/Super Bowl and join the fight. This organization, International Justice Mission, that I partner with, they did a deal with the Gates Foundation, and they went into the Philippines, the hotbed of human trafficking, and reduced, in a 5-year span, reduced human trafficking by 80%.
Wow.
Right? So, oftentimes people hear about causes. It's well, does it really work? Or where's my money going to? And all these things. This works, right? I've been to the field, right? I went to Guatemala, and I led a group of pro athletes in Guatemala checking out all this stuff. And, it was hard. But it was hard stuff, but it was so good to be able to see that, wow, I can be a part of this change. And these are young kids you're seeing, 2-year-olds who have been abused.
Wow.
4-year-old, 6-year-old, right? And we talk about, well, that's in a different part of the country. But dude, 34% of the perpetrators, or at least for online, the customers are from America.
Wow.
And so we've got to do something. There's a study that was done by the University of Dayton that showed that when you give money, you actually feel happier. Right? When you give it to a charity of your choice, local charity of your choice, you actually feel happier. And so I'm like, hey, not only will you help protect people, but you will feel better by joining causes like these. And so it's ijm.org/Super Bowl, and you get a chance to protect people, and you feel better.
ijm.org is the website. I'm glad that we got that message across, because you're right. It's what'd you call them? Customers? Can we just call them sickos?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can we just
absolutely?
I've got a daughter. He's got 5.
I've
protect kids.
Yeah.
I'm glad there's people out there trying to stop that kind of stuff.
And we can be those people. That's the thing. It's not well, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a activist. No, but I have a daughter. I have 2 sons. Right, I got 3 kids, and we know what social media is like. We know what even people on internet. So we can be a part of that change. We will be a part of that change. Not just me, not just you all. Everybody listening gets a chance to be part of that change. And so that's the coolest thing about being a part of causes that are greater than you.
Keep doing what you're doing, my friend.
Awesome. Absolutely. Sam Acho joining us here on the Blitz as we continue from Los Angeles on Radio Row. Coming up at 5 o'clock, Emmitt Smith will join us. Stay tuned for that here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM.
Don't tell him what I said. Don't tell Emmitt what I said.